as a nurse and went to Haiti very shortly after the earthquake for relief efforts. And we're talking, as Melissa mentioned earlier, about people who are in our blind spots. And I think that clip really highlights just one way that some of us, especially someone who's got the gift of being a nurse, can help, but we can help in our own communities as well. I want to start by mentioning that sports movies are not just about sports, and most of you probably know that already. In fact, I'd argue that sports movies are the morality plays of our time, the morality plays of our day. And what I mean by that is that today's sports movies preach important truths, everything from the importance of individual effort to the opportunity that people have on a team, sometimes of finding family and building those kinds of bonds. Which means that you don't have to be an expert pitcher to enjoy a movie like The Rookie, or you don't need to know about zone defense to appreciate a basketball movie like Hoosiers. And today's movie, The Blind Side, is a sports movie that's really not about sports at all. It's a football movie that hardly even features football. As some of you know, I'm a huge football fan. Football is my favorite team sport. I see a lot of parallels between what I do and what we do as a church in this community, and what I watch on a football field. And sometimes you gain yards, and sometimes you lose yards. And those of you who are part of the leadership of this church, you know what I'm talking about. And I think there's an analogy in everyday life there as well. At any rate, I've got a friend who is even more into football than I am. And when we saw the previews for the movie The Blind Side, you know, he was talking to me about them. He's just a total movie buff. And he's saying, man, this looks like a real football movie. You know, we got to go to this. And I bailed on him. He wanted to go on opening night, and I had a meeting on opening night. And so he went anyway. And the next day I saw him at the gym. And I said, so how was the movie? What did you think of The Blind Side? And he goes, well, Daryl, it's not really about football. Yeah, it's okay, but it's not about the game and so forth. Well, I went to see The Blind Side anyway, and I absolutely loved it. In my opinion, I would rank this as one of the two films that impacted me most powerfully and at the deepest level of the past year, The Blind Side. And for those of you who haven't seen it, let me just give you a bit of a breakdown. Michael Orr, who is the main character in the movie, seems to have everything going against him. His father, his natural father, doesn't want the responsibility of raising a child, and so shortly after his mother gives birth to him, he abandons the family. His mother is a crack addict, and so Michael is exposed to things from a very young age that no child, in my opinion, should ever have to be exposed to. At the age of 4, and there's a very moving scene in the movie where you get a flashback to this. At the age of 4, he and his younger brother are forcibly removed from their home by children's services. And you see the mother, you know, physical and violent and wailing. And he loses his connection with his brother. They aren't put in the same foster home. In fact, Michael Orr bounces from foster home to foster home to foster home. And so he grows up through his childhood without any sense of rootedness, which we know is so important for our kids, don't we, parents? You add it all up, and you see that Michael Orr had absolutely no concept, zero concept of what family is really supposed to be about. And that's just the family life. Then you throw in education, an area where Michael Orr, or maybe the system more accurately, was a complete failure. His cumulative grade point average is less than 10%. And yet teachers promote him from grade to grade. He passes every year because they don't have the time or the energy of addressing a problem or an issue like Michael. They don't have the time to give him the attention that he would require to become a good student. When the movie starts, there's a scene where he's laying on a couch, and there's an argument between the husband and the wife who are letting him crash under their roof. And he explicitly hears the wife say, in reference to him, I want him out. And so, to add insult to injury, the next day that the husband takes Michael away, and you know, we sometimes have this concept of the stork bringing the baby, right? They play on that in the cartoons, and the Grinch that stole Christmas and all that stuff. But that's literally what this husband does with Michael. He drops him off on the doorstep of a Christian high school called Wingate Christian. He does go one step further. He actually introduces Michael to the coach of the football team because he knows they're not going to admit him because of finances, because he has no finances. They're not going to admit him because of who his parents are, because people really don't even know who his parents are. They're not going to admit him because of grades, because his grade point average is abysmal. But Michael is 314 pounds. And so he's introducing Michael to the football coach in the hope that this football coach will see, you know, like a state championship standing in front of him. Well, the good news is Michael does get admitted to Wingate Christian High School, albeit on provision. But the bad news is that now he's homeless. Quite literally, the only clothes that Michael has are the ones that he's wearing, and he has one extra spare shirt that he carries with him. And his daily routine consists of the following. He goes to class after school. He'll go through the classrooms and through the bleachers and the gymnasium, and he'll pick up leftover food that other students have left behind, popcorn and very, you know, unnutritious stuff. And he'll eat it, and then he'll walk to a nearby laundromat where he'll hand wash his spare shirt so that he can wear it the next day to school. And he'll sit in a chair and he'll do his homework. And if perchance someone else is running their clothing in a dryer, he'll wait till their attention is diverted, and he'll throw his wet shirt into their laundry, and then later on he'll get it out because he has no money to pay to do his own laundry. And then after that, he shuffles his way, obviously exhausted by this point, back to the school, and somehow he gets into the school and he sleeps on the gymnasium floor. That's Michael's life in a nutshell. And in every regard, I would say that Michael is without hope and without a future. Are you depressed yet? And then you get this feature on this cold, rainy November night. And Michael's making his way back from the laundromat to the school for the night, and something happens that has the potential, at least, of changing Michael's life forever. See for yourself.
What is he wearing? It's freezing. What's his name again?
Big Mike.
Where is he going?
Hey, Big Mike. Where you headed?
Jim?
When?
Turn around. Big Mike! Stop the car. Big Mike. Hey, my name's Leanne Toohey. My kids go to Wingate. You said you were going to the gym? School gym's closed. Why were you going to the gym? Big Mike, why were you going to the gym?
Because it's warm.
Do you have any place to stay tonight? Don't you dare lie to me.
Seen that look many times. It's about to get away.
Come on. Come on. That's Jamie's room. Get inside. Come on.
Where we going?
Oh.